India's heritage of science and technology. This chapter actually gives you a very clean and pretty picture about India's history, of which up till now we had believed perhaps was related with religion only. We had a conception which according to me is a misconception that Indians had done really good as far as philosophy is concerned, as far as art and literature is concerned, as far as religion is concerned. But this misconception is going to get over with while we are going to learn about this chapter. So we not only, our ancestors not only actually worked on the parameters of art and literature, philosophy, religion, but they also had contributed to great extent in the field of science and technology. So that misconception is going to get removed. Because you are going to learn about various discoveries and various inventions which were carried out by our forefathers. So coming straight out here, we have got that first point to be discussed. What exactly do you mean by science and what do you mean by technology, and why it happens to be that science and technology happens to be used along side by side. The definition of science as it is given in your book, it talks about systematic knowledge. Knowledge which comes in steps, one by one. The brain is going to get opened up for new ideas, and slowly it is happening. All interrelated with one another. In your 7th, 8th, you had learnt about something called as cells. Then in 8th, 9th, you had learnt about what exactly the discoveries were there, which inventions were used, so that the cell was made possible to seen. And now you are learning about how the cells are actually helping in growth of unicellular or multicellular organisms. So over a period of time, let us say spread over 4-5 years, you come to that level where you understand what exactly those cells are doing in our day-to-day life. Simultaneously, those molecules, atoms, you came to know step by step. And this is basically that science. And when we talk about the word technology, we are talking about implementation of this knowledge which you had gained systematically for the betterment. So, implementation. You know that this thing is talked about in science, whatever it is. This fan, when we talk about that electricity is going to get passed through the magnets, it is going to create a certain effect. But that implementation is in the form of that fan which is moving. You pass the electricity, magnets are there, and that electromagnetic effects are going to be seen. So it is about electricity. Production is science, implementation is technology. Just mere creation of electricity was not sufficient. We should be knowing how to use it, and that is technology. So over a period of time, we were taught about by various discoveries and inventions in this particular field. First in this, we have got as a metallurgy. When we talk about the metallurgy, we are talking about the art or science of extraction of metals. What the basic concept is, there is a lot of minerals available in the soil, and those minerals need to be extracted out, and especially we are talking about the metals extraction. Extraction of metals from the earth crust, and that is going to be in the field of metallurgy. So, we had learned in previous chapters about Stone Age, when the Harappan civilization was present, and later on we also called it that this Harappan civilization moved on from stone to copper. Remember? So what was it? Stone Copper Age was given. Later on we came to know about bronze. So we went into Bronze Age. Then later on we came to know there is availability of iron. So we went into Iron Age. So this copper, bronze and iron together was called as the Metal Age for the development of humans. Later on, by 15th century, 16th century, we started having new discoveries and inventions, and we moved on to this present day, which is called as the Mineral Age. Stage-wise, development-wise. So we are concentrating ourselves in that very previous age in which humans came to know about the metals present in the earth crust, and they came to know about the method to extract it. It was something very new. No one could have believed that there is a metal beneath your feet and it can be separated from the soil and it can be used in manufacturing of so and so things. So everything was new. This whole concept was new. But we did really work on this parameter. So metallurgy, since ancient times the people of India use metallurgy, and this metallurgical part means extraction of those metals and use in their practical life. The tools which I have just mentioned: copper, stone tools, bronze tools, and iron tools. We had it divided. Plates were made up of copper and armory was made up of iron. Armory means those which are going to protect you or can help you for attacking. That is swords, or protections, that is armors. So that was made from iron. And for serving, the bowls were made from copper. So copper is a softer metal in comparison to the iron, hence we were able to segregate it. No, this we cannot use as a sword. I cannot have a sword made up of copper, it will not be that much effective in front of iron. So it is better I need to have some hard metal, and hard metal is iron. So let's use it for this arms and ammunition side of things. And the one which is soft, we can use it for plates, because we are not going to fight with the plates. And spoons and plates, we are not going to fight. The fighting was taking place at that time with the help of swords, arrows, spears, bale, throwing it up. So we need to have some hard metals. This old technology which was developing at that time is taught in metallurgy. Ancient India made extraordinary progress in the field of metallurgy, and there are certain points which are mentioned in your textbook, like we have metallic idol of a female dancer. Now what is so special about metallic female dancer being talked about? See, here we are talking about extraction of metal, number one point, then melting it down and getting converted into a solid figure which is going to represent like a female dancer. So this is all being converted. First extraction, conversion into liquid metal. Liquid metal is made solidified, and the solidified structure is going to represent something which resembles, make you correlate with someone. So this is some progress was done. Later statues of Buddha belonging to Kushan periods. While we were doing about the Takshila University, we had learnt about the dynastic rule of the Kushans. Those who were ruling over the northern India, basically present day, that northern part of Pakistan, Afghanistan, Jammu and Kashmir area, which was controlling the Silk Route, in case you remember about that. Silk Route was getting covered. They were very much prosperous. A lot of money was available in the form of taxes. I had explained it in that form. So here also we see that Kushan's period, Kushan time, Buddhism had originated. And Kushans were perhaps followers of Buddhism, and they had specially constructed a metal idol of Buddha. And that time, extraction and construction of the metal idol was really important. And it has survived the time period. Those 2,000, 3,000 years since they were rulers constructed it, and still it is present. So when we dug up, we find out, yes, it is still there. In South India, during the Chola period, there was some constructions done of metal idols, and special name is mentioned. We have got as Nataraj. Please underline it. That is the ship's dancing posture. It is preserved in the Museum of Chennai. So point to remember, we have got something constructed some 2,500 years back. It is still preserved and you can find it in the Chennai Museum. Another well-known idol is of Ram the archer. Now this Ram has been portrayed in an idol and along with the bow and arrow. So for that reason, the name has been given as Ram the archer. Archer is one who do the archery work, that is using the bow and arrow. So you can very well imagine what sort of structure could have been. It is also found out there. Apart from it, we have found lots of metal idols of God, goddesses is mentioned, animals, birds, and there is a mention about the betel nut cutter. In South India especially, we found that lots and lots of people happens to be chewing something which is called as the betel. And betel is supari. So betel nut cutters, a special provision has been constructed where metal was used for cutting down the betel nut, and that is called as the betel nut cutter. So this gives a very clear picture about how the metallurgy was carried out, starting from a very big statue of book to small structures like betel nut cutters or small idols of gods and goddesses. This metallurgy cannot actually be carried out without the help of something called as chemistry. See, we talk about, let us say, iron, Fe. Iron has got a very good tendency to react with water and oxygen and gets oxidized. And the process is called as rusting. So, we are always on the losing side whenever we have anything made up of iron. We have to really protect it from the air and protect it from the moisture so that rusting should not take place. But perhaps over a period of time we came to know that in case we add something called as copper and manganese, we might be having a provision of production of something new, much more durable than iron itself. If we are going to add carbon to it, we will be getting something called as steel. And when manganese, Mn, is going to get added up, we will be having something called as the stainless steel. So, what exactly we are talking about? We are learning the process of addition of certain elements with another element in the formation of alloys so that the durability of the product increases. Number one. We also are going to learn about, in this particular topic which we are about to start, how various elements can be combined or recombined again to produce specific molecules which are beneficial for us. Same medicine. So medicines is again a combination of various chemical reactions which are occurring and is going to result in formation of specific drug, that is medicine, that is drug, which is going to be used for the treating of ailments. Ailment means बीमारी. ये सारी जानकारी यहीं पर आ गई मेरे पास. Chemistry is an experimental science. Experimental means you have to keep on doing certain reactions among itself, come to a conclusion which one is a better one product and which one is not. And the one which is a better product, you are going to utilize it. This science is very useful for various minerals. Which minerals we are talking about? Which we get from the soil. So how those minerals can be extracted, how they can be meeting with one another, formation of a new substance can take place. Example is that copper and zinc mixed together to form bronze. So, combinations are there. Then I have got the plants. Approximately 36 minerals are used by the plants on day-to-day usage for their growth. Germination of seeds, certain particular minerals are going to be required for their growth. Making of various metals or to bring changes in them. Changes in them means making them as alloys. Silver with gold, what is going to happen? Silver with copper, what is going to happen? Gold with copper, what is going to happen? These are all experiments which were carried out. Results were accepted and we are still following them. Here the special mention is about Acharya Nagarjuna. Please remember this particular person's name, who was a Buddhist scholar of Nalanda University and was referred as Acharya, principal. Big personality of Nalanda University. He is the writer of various books, including two which have been mentioned, Ras Ratnakar and Arogya Manjari. Two particular books are mentioned. Acharya Nagarjuna advocated the use of allopathy along with herbal medicines. Now, I'll give you an example what exactly this allopathy is talked about. Allopathy is those medicines which directly work on the problem. You have got headache, you use paracetamol. And because the cause is seen to be of some cold and cough, perhaps a person might be advised to use the few drops of tulsi, sweet basil. In case you don't have the drops, you can use the tulsi leaves and extraction can be done. Keep it on your tongue, keep it for some time, juices are going to get extracted and it is going to soothe your throat. What you are doing? You are using allopathy, paracetamol to cool down the body, let it be not in that painful condition. In case there is some problem like fever, it can be controlled. And the cause, it seems to be the throat infection, we are using something called as the sweet basil, also called as tulsi. This was something was advocated by Acharya Nagarjuna. See, you can have the dual effects working simultaneously. It is believed that he was the one who advocated the use of mercury ash as a medicine. So what is so special about mercury ash? See, mercury is a poisonous metal. We are supposed to be away from this particular liquid metal which you find in those old thermometers. So it's a liquid and it is a metal. This metal can be easily absorbed by your skin. And in case it is absorbed, it is poisonous, it is going to be affecting your internal organs sooner or later depending upon the amount which has been absorbed, taken inside the body. So, conclusion is, I find it to be poisonous. But Acharya Nagarjuna, he did certain calculations, he did some actions, reactions, whatever it is, and he concluded that in case we use the ash of mercury, it is beneficial. So even today we find various Ayurvedic medicines containing the ash of mercury in it, and it is very astoundingly found to be benefiting us. So one thing which is poison can be reconverted back into something much more beneficial for us, and this was done with the help of something called as chemistry. Burn it. Everything has got its own ignition temperature. नहीं करने. This liquid but it can be burned, kept in a container. You heat up the container to that temperature where it is going to catch fire. Ignition temperature is going to be attained. Anything which has got ignition temperature can be burning. And everything has got its own ignition temperature. Some have got lower. Paper, you can burn it very easily. Certain have got a little higher ignition temperature. They are going to burn at a little higher temperature. 1000, 2000, 300, 3500, whatever. So, it is going to burn. We have to make that thing reach to that temperature where it starts to burn. Once burned, we will have something left as the leftover as form ash, collect it and use it as medicines. Last day of your class, I will do it. Okay. Nalanda University had its own school of chemistry and furnace for study. Furnace, batti, where we have got that fire being lit up. And fire lit up with regulated temperature. That is furnace. You burn certain things. The description of main rus, uprus, 10 types of poisonous as well as various types of salts and ash of mineral is seen in the chemistry. So these are certain things which are practiced even today in the field of Ayurveda, which all things needed to be administered within the body so that the ailment can be removed. Because of this chemistry, certain things were carried out in manufacturing sector. There are certain specific examples given which can be highlighted basically. One we have got is Buddha. The copper statue of Buddha reflects an expert knowledge and skill because still it is persisting. It has not got deteriorated. Buddha discovered from Sultanganj, underline the area of Sultanganj, district Bhagalpur, and the state is Bihar, is 7.5 feet and weighs approximately 1 ton. Another structure, that is statue of Buddha at Nalanda, happens to be 18 feet and still it is intact. Unique miracle we have got